Hey everyone, welcome back for another episode of the Owl Talk podcast. I'm your host, Drew Carpenter. Today's episode will be our very first partner spotlight. We've had the opportunity to talk with our official apparel vendor, Campus Inc. Joining us from the Campus Inc. team is our account manager, Mike O'Neill. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, Drew. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Glad to have you here on the podcast today. I've got a few questions for you, just kind of some general information about Campus Inc. If you're ready, we'll go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go for it.
So first question, before we dive into our partnership with Campus Inc., tell us a little background on yourself and your role with Campus Inc.
Yeah, sure. So I actually initially came from the sports television industry, working in branding and everything that had to do with our live streams coming from Big Ten Network. So definitely making a little bit of a leap going from broadcasting sports to selling t-shirts. But I think a lot of the concepts can translate pretty directly. So at Campus Inc., I manage our Greek clients and help grow their e-commerce presence and also strengthen their brand through apparel.
Very nice. Moving on to our second question. What would you say your favorite product or collection you've done with Sigma Pi has been thus far?
Yeah, it's really fun throughout the year to be able to highlight specific products based on the time of the year, the weather. It always opens up doors for new collections you can drop. The big one that we love to do in the fall is the outdoors collection. So we usually get to highlight some really cool brands like Carhartt, Eddie Bauer, Dry Duck, and those are really popular with the demographics that we typically sell to. I remember, I'm only a few years removed from college, but those are a lot of brands that I used to hit when I was in those years. So I would say the outdoors collection is definitely one of my favorites. Outside of that, I think it's pretty cool. We get to highlight specific events as well. So, for example, Sigma Pi recently had its Founders Day, and we got to highlight it and commemorate some of the founders of Sigma Pi. And also link that directly to chapters across the country and let them celebrate it as well in a unique way.
Absolutely. That's so interesting to hear. I'm sure plenty of our undergraduates are excited to know that we have this kind of this partnership with these brands they're already wearing. So great information. Moving on to our third question. I would say our members are familiar with the Sigma Pi store, but many may not understand the partnership with Campus Inc. Can you kind of walk us through that partnership?
Yeah, sure. It's definitely a unique partnership. At first glance, you see the Sigma Pi store online and you think that we just manage the e commerce platform itself. But it's really a lot more than that. We also get to work directly with chapters across the country and fulfill their custom orders, whether that be a Rush t shirt in the fall or maybe just a chapter wanting to get some polos embroidered. It can even go all the way to doing promotional products like banners, table covers, to cups, shaker bottles, you name it. And we have access to it through our vendors. So it's nice because it allows us to build relationships individually with chapters and almost tailor our service to what they're looking for.
To that point, in my role, I work with our groups as they get started out, as they're first getting established. So being able to share this information with them, let them know they have the opportunity to get plugged in with an apparel vendor. That way they have the opportunity to start making their own local brand. Super exciting. I'm sure they're all going to be excited to know that information moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the cool thing about it is, I went to the University of Illinois, which is where Campus Inc. started, really. And I got to work as a student before we had an official student designer program, but I was developing shirts and apparel for my own Greek chapter. So now, 6, 7 years pass, and we have a fully developed program across the country. So a Sigma Pi who's interested in making shirts for his chapter, or maybe just other chapters on campus, can do that through us, and he can learn the skills of training, sales, and design. So It's really it's a bit more robust, and it kind of comes full circle. It's more than just that website you can log into and catch some general Sigma Pi gear. You can also get stuff tailored directly to your chapter.
That is all really cool to know. I wasn't even aware of that, so thanks for sharing. Moving on to our fourth question. What's great about this partnership is it not only provides apparel for our members and alumni, but local chapters as well. Can you expand on how Campus Inc. supports our local chapters?
Our goal with Campus Inc. and with our partnership with Sigma Pi is that we want to be the one-stop shop. We can provide the general gear on our national Sigma Pi store. We can provide specific event gear for each chapter, and then we can also provide personal online stores. So a chapter that has a big alumni weekend can reach out to us and say, hey, we'd love to offer a polo to our alumni, some t-shirts to our undergrads. We say, all right, you got a design? They say, well, no problem. We can figure that out for you. We can we can work together on that, because that's usually the toughest part or the biggest snag. But what's cool about that relationship is that we are working with other Sigma Pi chapters. We can say, hey, this chapter from Missouri did this really cool shirt and it sold well. What do you think? They could say, oh, I don't like that. That's not really my chapter style. Or they could say, that's awesome. Copy and paste. And that makes us really happy, because we can provide them with a service that not only helps their own chapter, but it also can help another chapter in the future. So it's sort of building a community that promotes collaboration. And that's something that we love.
And this gives our undergraduate chapters the opportunity to network with one another, be able to kind of expand upon some ideas, and get to build this line of apparel, Sigma Pi specific.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure our listeners are excited to hear, what new releases are coming up. They love the Founders Day shirt. So can you tell us, what are the next big releases coming from Campus Inc.?
Yeah, I can share a little bit without spoiling the surprise, but we do a lot of t-shirts throughout the year, but one thing that maybe doesn't get marketed as much is our jerseys. So we're in the works planning maybe some fun jerseys this spring and summer, especially with convocation coming up. We're in San Antonio this summer, right?
We sure are.
Well, I don't know what I'm not sure, but we might be getting a little bit of inspiration from the San Antonio Spurs, maybe doing something fun there. So there's a there's a lot of things in the holster. I think jerseys are a big one that we'd love to start pushing with Sigma Pi, and that's something that a chapter could customize and do on their own through us, or we can do something nationally that can celebrate and bring chapters together. So I think jerseys are definitely something to look out for this spring and summer.
Well, I'll certainly keep my eyes peeled for them. We can't wait to see what's coming up in the near future as well. Brothers, head over to shop.sigmapi.org to get all your Sigma Pi apparel. And that's a wrap on this episode of the Owl Talk podcast. Thank you for joining this episode. And thank you, Mike, and everyone at Campus Inc. We're very proud of this partnership here at Sigma Pi. For everyone listening, make sure you hit subscribe and please leave a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform. And as always, I believe.